game in our hands. Okay, so apparently, well, it was not going to be Nomad or anything like that. It's gonna be just normal Black Forest. Alright, so let's throw the Fog of War and look who's going to be fighting where. For, of course, the wall in. Apparently, at the bottom, there's already gonna be attempt to wall. Well, that's kinda risky. Does he have loom? Yes, he does. Mio is having loom, sending 2 villages, so he should be quite fine. Actually building the wall in there without any kind of opposition. Doesn't seem like that Nicholas would be paying enough attention to that, as Wolfie is gone. And, well, of course, even though there's gonna be a bit of scouting going on by Nicholas, it's already gonna be way too late. And unfortunately, he missed the opportunity to wall himself in and basically protect himself against his opponent. But at the same time, it's looking like that actually Mio is not really all that interested in actually pushing forward. So he's just gonna be protecting himself more than anything else, as there's gonna be a bit of fighting maybe on the right. You can see that everybody is just moving the villages around. Deal end. Yellow are also enemies, and they are having actually interesting amount. Oh no, not really. Interesting crossings between them. Yellow is having loom as well, so not really any kind of threat in there. Potentially this guy from Vienheimville could be a bit interested in actually trying to stop this, but well, he isn't in the end all that much, as apparently this is gonna be basically the opposite situation as it was on the left, where Mio was paying attention to walling. This time it's gonna be the other way around, and Korea walling here. Curiously enough, this is actually not passable. They are just basically kind of stragglers that are blocking it off altogether. Then there is some kind of very hard choke point in here, times 2, times 3, and oh, this is all kinds of interesting. All kinds of interesting, because this is probably gonna be leading to some siege on just clearing the road before anything significant happens. Otherwise, it's gonna be very difficult to do anything at all in that. As well, in the middle, Colat Primaria is gonna be already walling off their opponents as well, trying to make sure that no villages are gonna be passing through into their side of the map. So that's basically proper walling. As Colat Primaria Scout apparently has just right now died, with Nicholas trying to catch up with, of course, with the purple player, as Mio is also being joined by Dark Knight actually, so they might be even killing this Scout Cavalry as well, so it seems like quite viable, and there is still a way through. You can see this is basically just right now walled by Mio. He wasn't even going anywhere else, somewhere far behind, as he's gonna be needing the villages a bit later in here, as Dark Knight is even going to be docking in the middle apparently. That's interesting, but this is really just going to be probably keeping it open, and maybe we're not gonna be seeing any kind of long Black Forest, but some kind of even early game, like we have for example seen yesterday between Run Forest Run and Sick Tactics B. That was a very unusual Black Forest, because Mateus basically just went forward and done some normal Dark Age attack normally on his opponent. It wasn't really anything standard at all. It was just all kinds of weird, but in the end it really worked out, and STBs did win the Black Forest against RF Arms, so that was really interesting, and you can find it in the highlights and past streams on this channel from yesterday. So docking for about 5 fishies, that's definitely worthwhile, so that makes plenty of sense to boost this economy this way, as with the pond at the back behind Mio, he's having just about 2 shorefish. That's not really viable anymore. It's not good enough. For the pond on the right side, seems like that Yellow is actually gonna be taking it as well. He's having about 3 fishies in there, which is exactly on the threshold where it's getting profitable to actually boost your economy through that, as he's also going for the board that is right next to the TC, so not really that much of an extra damage to the village, but still he is definitely close by to die in there. But in the end, he's gonna be surviving, of course, as he's having plenty of friends just waiting with the bows and arrows. And well, interesting gold. Nice quadruple gold mine, but of course he will have to somehow cut through that first. Otherwise it's not gonna be available. And basically the same at the bottom, you can see this is a triple gold mine, also enclosed fully in the forest. As for the opponents, you don't really see anything like that all that much. You can see they are quite close by to the forest, but not really enclosed altogether. They are just having enclosed what? Ooh, plenty of boars. Ha, that's kinda sucky. That could have helped in the early economy. Wow, 6 boars enclosed. Well, it's kind of sad, and one Wolfie apparently ruling them all. And did they actually miss the boars overall? Now he's having 2 boars there. There's something attacking. I don't know where. Ah, at the top. Actually, it's looking like a scout. Okay, against the Eagle Warrior, as Heimdall was having a bit of fun. But apparently he did have to relinquish that fight because he was almost dead. But looking also at the green player, is he having enough boars? Apparently, yeah. He was having at least one boar there, so it seems like that those were just basically the extras. But they would definitely be quite helpful. Definitely would be. But yeah, well, not really to be in this game. Well, so we are going to be, of course, heading into a bit of an uninteresting game on Black Forest, of course, as usually in the middle. There's nothing going on all that much, as apparently there was. And Dark Knight just partaking on all of those boards in the middle. And it's kind of curious that he's actually not milling it. He's going all the way back. That's kind of weird, probably didn't have enough. But right now he finally has, and yep, this is definitely worthwhile. Because getting all of this meat, all those 5 boards for himself, that's gonna be so supremely helpful to his economy that he basically cannot pass it up, as it would be a pretty big mistake. But oh well. Hello, what do we see here from Coat Primaria actually? He's trying to sneak up on the opponents because he was able to block the wall, or rather build the wall in the middle, and sneak a villager there as well. So as a Mongol, I'll be really expecting, I wouldn't be surprised by a drop in a stable, right when he drops into feudal age, and with the scout cavalry. That's actually could be quite significant issue for VNs. One that they might not be really ready to deal with all that much. So yeah, that's not really well played. Not really well played by the VNs, but well played by NHNs who are having all the walls accessible to them, and yeah, you can already see the stable. So there's gonna be plenty of raiding, and of course, without any kind of scouting, because it doesn't seem like that Mio would be scouting there all that much. You can see he's just interested in pushing the deer a bit closer to the TC, apparently. Yeah, he's slowly but surely running out, so he definitely needs to kind of hurry up. And she needs to listen a bit better, as she's kind of following into the wrong direction. Yep. Oh, come on. Come on. A bit to the left. And once more, and you're gonna get killed. Exactly. Yeah, that seems to be working quite alright right now for Mio. But let's see how this is actually gonna be working out, because this is quite a big danger. And even though right now here in Dark Knight is already attempted to do something about it, let's switch into his point of view. He's completely oblivious that there's actually something more going on, and he might not even discover the house in there. But if he does, that's at least gonna be giving him a bit of a cause to actually go a bit more to the left and scout what's going on in there. Because if he doesn't, yeah, now he's gonna be seen in there and already sees the army. So that's a bit lucky. Bit lucky for Dark Knight, because right now they're gonna be fully aware that there's already an army in there. Yep, he's right now signaling that there is already prepared fuel rush. And of course the scouts are all getting ready. You can see Mayo has scouted it as well, and they're gonna be preparing themselves, probably in time, but let's not be too hasty. Maybe they're just gonna be a bit too slow to that. So, blacksmith, market, so far going for standard castle, and basically just palisading themselves in, that they are not really surprised by anything, as there is nothing going on in the middle, just the walls still being present, and of course the scout cavalry trying to kill villages one by one, which they could definitely succeed with, because you can see they are kind of half the dish, all of them. And if they can properly micro them, one by one... Oh, they should be picking the lower health first. Come on. Kill this one, then this girl, then the one at the top. Oh, well, this is a complete massacre. So right now, Dark Knight has lost 5 villages. He has lost 5 villages, and supremely important spot on all of this hunt on the board. So this is actually already... this paying off so significantly. So you can see Dark Knight right now drop to 22 villages. Just 22 villages at this point as an Aztec. That's not what you want at all when you are hurrying up probably to some kind of faster castle age. You can see he's not even that faster in there anymore, as he still has to right now really fight, and that's gonna be resulting into death of those scout cavalry. But yeah, still, the damage is done and it's gonna be continuing. So this is very well played. Very well played by NHNB, and they could be just surprising their opponents. Well, let's see how this is gonna be continuing forward, because we should be entering the stage where actually booming abilities are gonna be coming forward. And to be honest, they should be really coming for the ends. They should be able to boom a whole lot better if they're allowed to do so. But so far, definitely interesting game from NHNB. They're definitely looking forward to playing this even forward, as there was a bit of a walling coming up by Heimdall to basically protect himself against the potential of the raiding from the red player in there. So, interestingly played. He still should be though careful about this part, because this is basically walled only by the enemies, by NHN, and not at all by the ends. So he's basically open in there, Heimdall, and I'm not entirely certain really why he's keeping this open. and why he isn't walling on the right as well. He's just basically, is he that brazen? Feeling that confident? Maybe. Maybe, but well, let's see if it's gonna be justified or not, because so far he's of course building second and third EC and hoping that he can actually be still strong enough once he reaches his prime as the Mongol, but that's of course gonna be quite difficult because Red is all over the place trying to disrupt the opponents and doing definitely a pretty great job slowing down the Aztec. That's gonna be working wonders for them. Otherwise the civilizations are a bit different, as we are having Spanish, Aztec and Mongols for VNs. For NHNs we are at Mongols, Huns and Mayans, so you can see the switch in the Aztecs and the Mayans, and even of course in the Spanish and the Huns. So a whole lot different, all of it. As Green is basically right now not really having any kind of great game, and even though he's having at least a few spearmen in there, he's of course gonna be losing more villages in there. It's gonna be about 2 extra dead, and he's being kept at, wow, 16 vills. He is at 16 vills. So he wasn't of course building anything because he was advancing it through Castle Age. So all the economy that he lost through this raiding, that was basically not replaced at all. That was not being replaced, and he's an absolutely horrible stage. And a horrible state as well, as he's basically having half of the villages of all the other players. So he's more or less out of the game at this point. He's just not going to be able to do anything at all, and you can already see there's gonna be attempt to actually push forward by yellow, which is exactly because purple, or rather teal, didn't wall up at all. And it's almost like Vienza actually giving this game up to their opponents, which is really weird because they need all the wins they can get to actually secure the first spot, and maybe just even the playoffs. It's still kinda open in their division, especially looking at killers and whatnot. So, well, this is potentially gonna be quite costly loss if it actually happens that way. It's still not ensured because you mustn't forget that VNs are all 2k experts, and you can already see that Mio is through as well. You can see not really any kind of backup walling by stone walling or whatnot. So that's gonna be costing Nicholas quite dearly, and he's not even able to finish right now the siege workshop, unfortunately. And with all the conquistadors being able to raid into the economy freely without anything at all, this is, well, probably gonna be kinda hard dealing for Nicholas, who is right about now trying to get actually some kind of defense going. But yeah, probably not that strong enough against all of those units unless he gets some extra monks, because monks could be quite helpful in this case because they are pretty much a direct counter to those conquistadors. Exactly, Nicholas. That's what you need to do, and he is doing it. So, Scout Cavalry is still very much alive, trying to raid the green player who is slowly growing up through the numbers of villages from the horrifying into kinda not so horrifying, but still pretty bad. Still at just 23 villages. But his allies are doing a pretty good job at 41 and 40, whereas the opponents are at 33, 32 and 38. Coat Primaria as the pocket player having the most right about now. So in the pocket, Castle has been dropped on teal player, definitely not something that he was expecting and wanting at this stage, as he doesn't really have all that much room to actually establish himself, and boom, but still 40 Cs, it's kinda enough. It's kinda enough for himself. And we're just gonna be waiting basically what's gonna happen in the middle, because Dark Knight is apparently not giving up on his Aztec duties, and that's exactly what we would be expecting, basically prestige spam, which is it called in Age of Mythology, but here it is Monkrem. Monkrem spam, more or less, as you're gonna be looking also at Pangonel in there, and it's gonna be fairly easy to push forward, and then of course start converting all the units that are gonna be coming against them. On the left, of course, Mio still continuing with the raiding through the conquistadors, and probably just hoping that he can get some extra economy going, and then advance to Imperial Age and switch into the horses, of course. But well, of course, so are going up numbers of monks for the blue player, for Nicholas. So potentially it's not gonna be that easy for Mio to actually raid him, and maybe he could be wanting to actually switch into pocket player. Korea just now advancing into Imperial Age as the very first player, it seems like. That's interesting. Ascola Primaria is still right now gonna be advancing through Castle Age, and well, it's gonna be just a bit too late, and already is raided by purple, which is exactly what I was looking at when I was looking at this squad moving to the middle. So yeah, that's exactly what was expected, and definitely good job. You can see so many dead villages already. You can see about 6 dead villages, gonna be 7, 8 would be expecting. So he is being dropped quite significantly as well, as he was the leader leader for NHN in actually number of villages, but he's being dropped to about 30 right now. And with all the extra Conquistadors coming through, it's unfortunately not good enough defense by Nicholas to help his teammate. And he should be moving there sooner rather than later, because if he doesn't, then all the potential booming capabilities of Red are gonna be completely over. And well, all the work that he has done through raiding the green player and slow him down so significantly. So already switching even into Chemos apparently. But yeah, he will have to force himself into defense full on, because green is finally breaching through the palisade walls in there and moving ever forward into the middle of the base of the red players. So yeah, red losing everything in there, and unfortunately that seems like that he won't be able really to do anything significant with it, as on the right side yellow is not really doing anything all that much either. He just has the castle in there on this enemy, but that's pretty much it, as castle is gonna be counter-built by Heimdall without all that much of a problem, as he is growing in the economy. The best of his team, it seems like, right now at 62, Mio at 57, 35 for Dark Knight, but yeah, the opponents are not really much better off. So Mox coming forward with the siege, of course a whole lot more important in here. Come on, convert the scouts. That's gonna be of course working, even though it's gonna be taking a bit of time. It's gonna be quite fine, as even he was able to micro actually properly take at least one of those monks and start healing the one that was actually under attack. So yep, that's well played. And come on, more conversions needed. You are having plenty of customers in that are wanting to change their faith. Not well, of course, this is right now gonna be pretty tough deal for Red. Red seems to be more or less kinda deadish. Even though he's still having plenty of villages, he's having like more than half of them idle. Which is of course resulting into him not being really present all that much anymore in the game. Even not really fighting on the middle, as he's having just a few camels, not really going for any raiding, as he's just somehow trying to survive his base. And to survive in his base, but unfortunately, there is gonna be not enough help apparently from Nicholas, as Nicholas, even though he's right to arrive there, he's just gonna be absolutely leveled by the defense by Dark Knight, and yep, all his army is right now gone, and that's of course gonna be quite costly, because of course Mio is already in his base as well, dropping even military buildings. That's gonna be Rams supported by even more conquistadors, pushing forward on the economy of Nicholas. So Heimdall coming into Imperial Age, that should be basically just confirming that he's not gonna be having in that much of a threat from Korea. Even though he's right now trying to take down the castle, he's not gonna be fast enough, it seems like, as the army is not really present in there. Well, he's having some kind of pluntaches, but with this castle there, he's gonna be slowing his opponent down fast enough, or rather, well enough, I'm thinking, that he should be getting ready with his upgrades, with his onagers, with his mangudais and whatnot, to basically stand even against Korea, who is inside his base. In the meantime, of course, Korea is gonna be having to face a few conquistadors from Mio in the meantime, as of course he's basically just trading anything that moves, as he didn't find anything all that much in the red space. He has at least moved into the yellow one, and unfortunately 4, well, he still can move there. You can see he has actually walled there. That's a good idea, of course, to protect your teammate, but he still can go all the way up and then double back, and he's gonna be into the yellow base. So yeah, that means that right now GGs are going to be cast, as even villages are gonna get converted, and even through the very rocky start to this Black Forest, VNs are gonna be emerging victorious. Their skill is gonna be coming through, and they're gonna be winning the match 2-0. But the start by Golat Primaria, that was really well done. Really well done, sneaking behind the enemy lines, producing so many scout cavalry, and basically he was almost annihilating actually Dark Knight, because he dropped him to about 16-17 villages when he was advancing to Castle Age. So that was a really tough job for him, and why he was so slow to actually advance into the attack from his position, which is something that you would be expecting from Aztec. So well, interesting moments, unusual Black Forest, but definitely glad that we have seen something like that. And again, see blue just at the end. Yeah, a bit too many conquistadors for him to handle. A bit too many to handle. So let's check the achievements right now. That is gonna be V and Mio, with having the highest score. Makes sense, but I definitely like Golat Primaria yet again. It was a nice and brave attempt, and it was really working against Dark Knight. It really was. It really was. Okay then, so far we don't really see anything out of the ordinary in the rest in there, so that's gonna be it, and GG.